I'm Rob, and today we're at a pub with no name. So an interesting and very different pub. So it's pub with no name, but it actually has got a name. It's the White Horse. It's a 17th century pub, and it's got 50 non-electric grass tent pitches if you want to come camping. And it was also visited by Edward Thomas, the poet, who depicted rural life in England. So, from the pub and Mr. Chainsaw, across the fields with the tables on, to the footpath the other side. We keep forward across the field of flint, farm in the distance, until we emerge out on the road. Quite hidden to the side of the field by the lane, a finger post that we found it. So we're going to come down and hopefully find a path the other side of the road. That's the next mission. And we're heading across the well-defined path. That's quite a dodgy style. Don't like that barbed wire on the top in a nasty place. So you've heard of Slade. You've heard of Slade Prison, and that's Slade Farm, and you're heading across the field just by that conifer there to that gate. So here we are at Slade Farm, and we've got free-range pies here. Homemade products, cakes, all sorts of things, free-range eggs, but we're turning right anyway. If you're feeling hungry, pop in. Lovely, the snowdrop's all out now. And on the left you soon come to a path leading back out into the countryside. So come across that track, off of the road, over another stile, and down the pretty little dell. Well, there's the house. And there's the free range pies. And we're continuing down towards the hedge. Looking at this tumble down building, I don't think it's anything to do with the abandoned village, but it's reminded me of it. So Colemore and parts of Priors Dean were abandoned in the Middle Ages, probably to do with plague, as there are springs in the area, so it's not really a shortage of water. And it had its final death now in the 18th century when the manor was destroyed. So all the occupants of the village fled in search of work. There are scheduled ancient monuments in the area. The area was owned by King Richard, and the manor was owned by King Richard. The area owned by Southwark Priory, that's Southwick, Southwark in Hampshire, until the dissolution of the monasteries, and then of course who got their hands on it? Yeah, you guessed it, Henry VIII. Henry VIII passed it on to Anne of Cleves, and then of course when she became, shall we say, indisposed, it went on to the next wife, Catherine Howard. It'll be interesting to see when we eventually get to that area, if there's any earthworks or anything left with the village. I'll keep my eyes open. If I don't say anything, you know there isn't. But the abandoned village is actually southwest of the church, which we'll see shortly, St Peter ad Vincula, and southeast of Manor Farm. So we'll have a look. So just after the ruin, get to the edge of this ploughed field, or it might have crops in by the time you do it, but there's a post. We go left, and we go right around the edge of the field. Just off to the side of the path we have this. It's not some alien spacecraft, it is in fact a pheasant feeder. Plenty of them about, leaping out of the undergrowth and squawking, making me jump today. Anyway, you can see St. Peter Advincula in the distance. We're going to follow this path down to the church. Now we come out of the field. We're now on the road, the lane. We're heading towards St. Peter's Advincula. There's a few houses about. It's a modern day small settlement here. Very nice houses. As I say, in years gone by, the village was abandoned. This is St. Peter Advincula, or St. Peter in Chains, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Oh, nice to find a comfy seat. Well, it's a very old church, as you can see. It's in fact 11th century, so it's built in the same century that William the Conqueror conquered England. It's Grade 2 listed, and it's looked after, as I said before, by the church's Conservation Trust. And it's nice, they've left it in a sort of rustic way that it's probably been for hundreds of years. So it's a living piece of history. So there are the bells, accessed by a ladder. I don't see any ropes. Climb up the ladder and hit them with a hammer. It's a modest old church. Looked after by the church's Conservation Trust. They do hold the odd service here. Oh, look at this. You can see the original medieval wall art up there. Almost looks like tiles. And this is who the church's Conservation Trust are. If you want to freeze the page, you can read it. Going to leave the village of Colemore, what's left of it, tiny farm, a church and the odd house. And we're going to turn right and head down this lane. Now that's Manor Farm. So I'm guessing the abandoned village would have been over towards the back of it. Or maybe over in these fields over here. I don't see many lumps and bumps where footings would have been. And it's a long time for ploughing to be done. Although looking at that, can you see that? You can see sort of shallow banks and undulations. Looks like that might have been where buildings were. I don't know. Anyone who's an expert on Colemore, then let me know the exact location of this abandoned village. Yeah, I've come to the firm conclusion, as it says southwest of the church, that would be there, that field that we saw the undulations in. There's the church. And southeast of the farm, which would be over in that field. So I'm guessing the village used to string from one side of the church over there, across through what's left of the village now, the modern village of a couple of houses and the church, and over into this way. That would be my best uneducated guess. So a very short distance from the church, As the road bends round, we take this track, and then you can see the finger post for the footpath we're going to take on the left. So to save confusion, the sign is on the left, but we don't take the left path, which is a restricted byway. Could take the Land Rover down there if I didn't value my paintwork. But we take the straight on path. I do like those windows. You come up this side of the field on the path, and I think once upon a time, according to the Ordnance Survey map, it would have gone straight over from that corner bit to here, but it doesn't. The mowed grass path carries on there and takes you further and further off of the path on the map, and there's a bit of a hill. Don't go up there and start walking, which is what we did, because it's wrong. You need to turn right and go along this grass bit to pick up the path again, which is here. It's a gate on the left. We're heading for that gate, or stile, or whatever. Doing a lovely lot of tree planting there. Lots of young saplings. Climbed up the hill. And we exit the field over the stile, right by Slade Farm. So turn right out of the field, and we pass the pond. Then up by Hermitage Farm, we're going to turn left. They turn up everywhere these days, alpacas. They were once very exotic, but they're quite commonplace now in Hampshire. He's more interested in food than me. We've arrived down the little lane at Hermitage Farm, and we take the path off to the left. All the sheds, whatever they may be, poultry maybe. That looks like a foxhole, and it looks like he popped his head out and thought, oh, breakfast. Nom 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 nom. Lots of sheep around here. I think that might have been chickens back there. Pretty sure it was chickens. And these craters in the ground, they must be worked out old chalk pits. There's several of them dotted around here and there. Right, if we're on the path, we turn right onto the road, head back towards the pub. So there's the cars turning up the drive to the pub, but we can take this little footpath that takes us across the pub garden back to it. So that was a nice walk. It seemed forever to be going uphill. Must be some sort of illusion, because you can't go uphill from a point and end up at that point and not have to come down, but hey ho. But it was around 5 miles, give or take. Pretty interesting, fairly nice paths. Some of them a bit vague, so you have to sort of fudge around a bit to find them. But anyway, Trev and I have earned our lunch, so we're going to go in and see what's available. So follow me.